Hello again. There's a fair chance you've already seen a few of these videos on this new film stock over the last few weeks, but if you're just now joining us, I walked up a hill, I walked down a hill, I walked up that hill again, I walked up and down that same exact hill the next day, I drank beer, I got sunburnt. Most of this channel has been me applying sunscreen and still somehow getting sunburned. I shot a lot of film, I met a lot of really dope people. Let's get into it. Harman Photo hosted an amazing release weekend down in beautiful San Clemente to celebrate the rising flames of their new color film stock, Phoenix 200. I was hooked up with an early roll on release day from the homies at Tuttle Cameras and traveled down early to shoot some hopefully exciting fire. But I know you're already sick of looking at me, and it still bugs my voice a little bit when I talk to camera, so let's skip through all this and just finally get to the pictures. I've got my coffee here, I've got a Christmas scented candle, and hopefully I won't mix those two things up. This film has been defined as contrasty, warm, and vibrant, which I think lends itself perfectly to the beach and lush green hills that huddle the beautiful coastline here in California, and what feels more beach-like and classic than In-N-Out. So you know my hungry ass had to slam a double-double in a few frames before my walk that day. These first two images are a bit underexposed. And hello, grain. I'm not exactly sure why this film leans like it's a Nickelodeon award show, but it seems to only happen in really shadowed light or indoors. Also, shooting at 100 or 160 ISO might have helped me a bit. I really like this shot. The glow of the setting sun really provides a timeless look to this image, but I was double parked, so I didn't stay here too long. Later, I left my car a good ways away from the Main Street Pier because I wanted to take in the small beach crawl area and the life buzzing inside it. The sun was absolutely beautiful for the next hour, and I felt I had perfectly timed my arrival for the rest of this roll. Again, some of these are a bit underexposed, more so than I would have liked. Like the shadow detail falls away almost immediately in some of these, but I seem to get the hang of it a few frames in. I think here is where I started to really find my stride with Phoenix and captured a few photos that I really love. This might be my favorite image that I caught that afternoon. The spontaneous actions of that nostalgic playfulness to just run through the birds and watch them fly, the lighting, the water looking crispy in the background, plus her baby falling face first into the sand isn't a half bad addition either. Funny enough, I ran into King Jonathan doing the exact same thing. Super friendly dude and awesome to bump into during our quest for experiencing this new film stock. Thanks dude for not making me feel weird during that shaky ass fist bump. The halation is a bit strange on this film, sometimes creating a welcome detail, and at other times completely blowing out what you had intended to highlight. My buddy at 3313 Photography described it as Cinestill and Ektar had a love baby, and I think that actually might be the perfect description because of its contrasty nature. Also, shooting at 100 or even 160 ISO might have helped me out a bit. Actually, I lied. This is my favorite shot from the roll. It's nothing particularly filled with action or drama, but I think it perfectly highlights what makes Phoenix special and strikes a mood that perfectly transports me back to the day. The saturated pop of the greens, the slivers of orange warm light painting the door frame. I don't know why, but I really dig this image, and the framing isn't half bad either. Later that night was the official release party over at Lost Winds Brewery, where I brought some Delta 3200 in hopes of capturing something in the dark. I wanted to bring one of my 1,000 point-and-shoot cameras or my Canonet, but the flash unfortunately died on me a few days before this event. So Delta to the rescue? I still had to shoot it pretty much wide open, so get ready for some completely unnecessary bokeh. Regardless of how these pictures came out, this is where the magic happened. I got to meet so many new photographers and bump elbows with some of the industry's absolute best. I particularly enjoyed my time getting to pick Caleb's brain, or as the interwebs knows him, Bad Flashes, and his incredibly generous friend Brandon from Studley Vlog, who I interrupted enjoying their taco truck quesadilla. I won't lie, it looked really good. But I was a bit more hungry for that like a fanboy chit chat. They both forcefully held me down and incepted my brain with the need for an M6 in my life. And I have to say, they're probably not wrong, but I also enjoy affording my car. Harman raffled off a few rolls of film and other swag goodies to a bunch of very lucky photographers that night. But just like the old days of kickball, I was not exactly picked. But I wouldn't have traded the energy in those conversations for anything. It was a great time and the beer was excellent. With 2 frames left on the roll, I decided to take a picture of the San Clemente Denny's that everyone knows if you've ever driven down the 5. And sometimes I forget how beautiful Delta 3200 is, even though it's not really 3200. We'll forgive it, because these shots are creepy as hell. The next day, we were invited to join Harman back down at the San Clemente Pier for a little photo walk and local pub crawl. As Joey would say, this is where I make my money back. Not that I needed anything in return, but incredibly, Harman gifted us all a roll of their new film to shoot with them. But I had other plans. In light of this experiment shooting Harman, I wanted to pair this new stock with one of my favorite all-time 200 speed films to shoot, Kodak Color Plus. I know these two films are made super different and have incredibly contrasting results. Not to mention we'd be capturing shots closer to noon than I had yesterday, but I'd also be shooting the same location twice in 24 hours. I wanted to mix things up to have something to examine. I also swapped out my 50mm for the 28 for a wider look at the pier and the crowds. Did I say people had amazing cameras the night before? Well, forget what I said, because today everyone rolled out the red carpets. Seriously, there were some impressive clicky boxes that made me drool and swoon of jealousy.
The Phoenix film, we're looking forward to seeing all of your guys' results and photos from this photo walk and beyond. When we're done hanging out here, we'll start walking up to downtown San Clemente.
But after standing in the same spot for a little less than an hour, even those couldn't hold my attention. It was great talking with everyone from last night again, but I also felt the urge to go shoot. So a few of us, Landon, Andy, grain related, all branched off early and made our way into the downtown ahead of the group. After crossing paths with everyone one more time and doing that thing where photographers all put their cameras on the table together like a little Sunday school art project, we called it and headed home. But I couldn't leave the San Clemente area without a really quick stop to Pedro's Tacos. The rice and beans aren't anything special, but the rolled beef tacos and soft potato tacos used to be a staple for me when I used to commute this way for work. Super nostalgic. I had less than 8 shots left of my Color Plus, so instead of taking the freeway home, I cruised down PCH until I hit Dana Point and cracked out the rest of my roll. So how different are these two known contrasty films? I like Phoenix 200. It has its quirks, but it also has a distinct look that can be used to create a specific mood that maybe nothing else on the market can. And that's exciting for someone that is predominantly a film shooter. These shots were my favorite that I captured on the first roll, but I'm really excited to take this film somewhere completely different like the open desert or mountains, to see how dynamic the look can be in a different setting. The cost of Harman's $13.99 over Color Plus's $10.99 is a little steep for something this low in latitude, but they're entirely different looks. And may I remind you, Harman is known for creating black and white film for longer than you and I have ever been alive. The fact that they were successful in 2023 at all is something to be celebrated and embraced, when the future of film has been made so uncertain for the last few years. I know I can't wait to shoot with it again and see later down the line how this stock can improve. They are just getting started. Thank you again to Harman Photo, Beers and Cameras, The Darkroom, Tuttle Cameras for making this amazing adventure possible. I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see y'all in the next year. How the year is already over? I couldn't tell you, but I hope you bought your mom something nice.